Hey guys, Connor here and welcome back to Star Wars Central. I've got a really important update for Star Wars Battlefront 2 today. You may have noticed that last night there were some issues with progression being tracked in-game. Unfortunately, it turns out that this wasn't a small issue, and it's actually a pretty big problem. Our new community manager Ben, who's been doing a fantastic job keeping us in the loop on this, has announced that today, to fix this issue where achievements, milestones, and progression in general were not being tracked properly, DICE are going to have to take the servers down, and it's probably going to be for a while. Now, to be clear, they would never do anything like this lightly. The fact that they're taking the servers down means that the only way to fix this problem is in fact to take them offline. Even in the past, when patches like the cosmetic or the progression update were released, which were pretty big updates, the downtimes were usually very short. Instead, this time Ben estimates the downtime for this fix could be as much as 10 hours. Now that's a lot more than we used to, but I guess the key thing to remember here is that the issue is being fixed quickly. This is a big change in the frequency of patches compared to what we had in Battlefront 2015, and even for Battlefront 2 if we go back to the launch days. The fact that we're getting essentially a rapid response fix to the issue that's affecting apparently 30% of the player base shows that internally something has changed at DICE, and updates and fixes are starting to arrive at a much faster rate, which can only be good for the game and of course good for the community. Anyway, I've talked about this long enough. Let's take a closer look at the different posts Ben has made and break down exactly what's happening with Battlefront 2. So this all started yesterday when Ben tweeted that the team were investigating some reported issues with Star Wars Battlefront 2. He then continued with a thread of tweets that kept us in the loop with lots of information on how the team were handling the issue and what was going on behind the scenes. Now this is a big change compared to the communication that we normally get, where we're left guessing whether an issue is even going to be patched. Instead, we've been kept entirely in the loop here, and Ben has updated us every step of the way. In fact, on a broader note, since Ben arrived in the community manager's position, we've seen a marked increase in communication, and there's definitely a lot more information out there. Whether it's through the new community transmissions, or just simple tweets like these that help make sure everyone knows what's going on. So a big thank you to Ben for making sure the community understand what's going on, and also making sure that we're not in the dark on this. Anyway, moving on, about 15 hours ago, Ben said that the team are still investigating and working around the clock. He confirmed that players were seeing weird error messages including incorrect information on different menus in-game. Fast forward a couple of hours later, and this progressed to the point where he confirmed that the team have found the problem and have also found the solution. He said that the team are now going through the process of fixing it, which will involve intricate work to the critical back-end systems and will result in some downtime. Now, at this point, I was reading the tweets and I was hoping that by downtime they meant maybe an hour, but sadly that's not the case. Ben updated us later by confirming that the downtime is expected to last possibly 10 hours. Which means that by the time this video even releases, maintenance will likely have started, and you've probably got at least 5 hours more to go until they expect this issue to be fixed. I guess at the end of the day though, I know a 10-hour downtime sounds pretty bad, but we can't complain about this. In under 24 hours, DICE have investigated a problem that we reported, found the solution, and are deploying the fix to the live servers as we speak. That is seriously impressive, and on top of that, they worked around the clock to achieve this. So again, a big thank you to the team at DICE for their hard work in keeping Battlefront 2 playable and making sure these issues are fixed quickly. Anyway, that's pretty much the news for today. There was an in-game problem identified, DICE worked to fix it, and now the fix is being deployed. As I said before, the downtime is likely to be around 10 hours, so if you log into Battlefront 2 today and notice that it's offline, then don't worry, because it just means that DICE are still fixing this issue and making sure progression is being tracked properly. Now, one key thing I wanted to talk about whilst I'm here today is this big shift in how DICE and EA are handling Battlefront 2. It's very obvious in regards to the frequency of patches, the new communication, and just how open the developers are being, that something has definitely changed internally. Maybe some restrictions have been lifted, or perhaps it's just because they're finally in a position with internal development to talk more about these features and issues than they were before. I mean, to be fair, we did have some pretty big updates in the last couple of months, the cosmetic and progression updates, and before that we also had an update that affected arcade. It's definitely obvious that work has been going on behind the scenes to bring Battlefront 2 up to a standard that DICE are happy with. But maybe now that some of the quality of life updates are out of the way, we're going to start hearing more communication on new content. For roughly a month, we've had some fantastic communication from EA, DICE, and developers individually on where Battlefront 2 is going. Now, I personally am hoping that this continues throughout the month of May and June, where we've supposedly got Season 2 of free DLC releasing, as well as EA Play. Now, EA Play is a huge event held in LA every year. EA invited me out to the event last year, and I gotta say, it was fantastic. The sheer amount of news and detail released for Battlefront 2 was brilliant, and I'm hoping that this year we get something similar. Now, to be clear, Battlefront 2 isn't going to be the focus of EA Play. The focus this year will be on Battlefield 2018. But I still feel like we're gonna get some pretty big announcements, whether it's for Battlefront 2 or other Star Wars games at EA Play. So this increase in communication, this effective opening of the floodgates as we get closer to these events, can only be a good thing both for Battlefront 2, for other Star Wars games, and the community in general. Anyway, that's it for this quick update. I'll have a new video for you guys tomorrow on the Ewok Hunt game mode, leaving Battlefront 2, and what to expect when it comes back. Personally, I have a big list of features or changes that I'd like to see them make. Most of these changes would be pretty simple, stuff like torch light intensity, being able to throw your spear, or even just reducing the damage of the Wisties. I feel like these would be changes that the community would welcome that would also help keep the mode fresh and interesting, but until then, that's it for today's video. I'll catch you next time, and may the Force be with you.